because before being a dollar value, there will be a ratio value. Let's say you are paying 10 pulses for one PulseX. And when you sell the first time pulse for Ethereum, you get a dollar value, and you put that dollar value multiplied with the ratio that you got in between PulseX and Pulse, and that creates a price for PulseX, and automatically creates a price for all the tokens that will be on the Pulse chain.
So what you are trying to tell me is that the first intrinsic value, it will be the Ethereum, so that it will divide the value on all of the tokens that is in the blockchain of the pool chain.
So so yes, when you transact the first time something, it will give a value for something that is on the Pulse chain, and
Yes, but
automatically, because there will be a ratio in between that thing and the rest of the tokens on the Pulse chain network, automatically all the other things will receive a price, and
yes,
then
of course,
when
but
there will be when markets will start to buy and sell stuff, that price will be influenced depending on how large the liquidity pools are for each one of those assets.
okay, I understand you. But what I'm trying to tell you that the first intrinsic value on the blockchain, it will be Ethereum, because Ethereum will be the token that you can make the bridge to the pool chain. So the token that will have so liquidity that it will distribute on the all the other tokens, it will be Ethereum, because you can just only pass Ethereum to pool chain or pool chain to Ethereum. And then from there you can try to swap and buy any tokens that it's in the on the network.
Yes, but the value will not be given by bridging. Bridging won't give a value. Actually, swapping something will give value. So you
No,
bridge it,
no,
but
because on the bridge, so push Richard Hart says that there will be a bridge. So that bridge you can I don't know what it calls in English, but in the bridge is like you will transfer the liquidity from the Ethereum blockchain to the Pulsechain network. But that liquidity, it will be from the Ethereum token, the main Ethereum token.
yes,
So
yes.
that will give
Let me
Pulsechain.
explain to you. So that bridge is named pulselead.com. You can test
Mm-hmm.
it in the test network. And
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if you bridge one Ethereum to Pulse
Hmm.
chain, it will
Yeah.
worth one Ethereum. But until you don't have an actual swap in the Pulse chain network to create a ratio in between that Ethereum and Pulse, let's say, you still don't have a price for the rest of the things. Yes, you bring on the network one Ethereum and it works as much as it works on the other side, but you actually have to make a first swap in between that Ethereum and to buy some Pulse or to buy some Pulse X or some other token in order to spread the price towards throughout all the tokens in the network.
But it doesn't make sense. So if you bridge Ethereum, you bridge it directly to pool chain, to the token. The main token of the blockchain is pools. So the
No, no,
liquidity,
no,
it
no,
will be
no, no, no. If you bridge it, it will be a wrapped Ethereum. It won't become pools.
okay. 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 Now I understand you. So it will not give one-to-one pools. I don't know.
No,
I don't
no,
really understand
no,
why not.
no, because the supply of the pools it's 1.2 million times more than the supply of the Ethereum. So with one Ethereum in day one, you might buy around 1.2 million pools if you are lucky.
Okay, so the token that will have the greatest value on the blockchain, it will be the wrap Ethereum, I guess.
Yes, or something else wrapped that got swapped for an asset in the Pulse chain network.
Okay, okay, now I understand. Okay, but will So it's good. The idea is good. Now I understand you, but it will be like a lot of tokens that they don't have real intrinsic value on the Ethereum blockchain. Let's say some cheat coins, they will not have value on the pool chain. It will be a token with a large numbers of tokens, but maybe the liquidity is zero.
If they have liquidity on the Ethereum network, they will have that liquidity also on the Pulsechain network. And from there on, it depends from the community of that token if they add more liquidity.
Okay. And one last question. If it's in the inverse side, so let's say there is a project that is on the pool chain and it has liquidity on the pool chain and you want to swipe it up on the Ethereum, can you do that? So there will be also a token created on the Ethereum blockchain, even though it has been created in the first hand on the Pulsechain network.
I'm not entirely sure I get very well the question, but let's say you
So
have a
like if it
token on the
like a,
Pulsechain network that worth $1, and you want to do what with that token?
no, I mean like Pulsechain wants to, let's say, clone all of the tokens from the Ethereum blockchain, right? So of course there will be some developers that they will create a project inside uh, pool chain. So there will be a project that it will be a project that is native
Native,
from
yeah.
pool chain. So will they do the same thing, but in the inversa? So that token will be also cloned on the Ethereum blockchain.
No,
If-
no, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no. But they can do this manually by
Ah,
minting it as a new
ah,
contract.
okay. 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 And my last question is about regarding Hex. So um, I understand the certificate of deposit, but there is one thing that I don't really understand. So when you deposit Hex on the on the to let's say to stake it, you get T-shares. That T-shares, um, it doesn't have a intrinsic value, right? So I mean, it's a like a token that you cannot move it anywhere, just only
So,
on the stake pool, right?
so the T-share you won't actually see on the block. What T-shares are, they're a method of calculating your yield more easily, because otherwise the blockchain will have to do much more complicated calculations of the yield for each stake. So what they are using these T-shares, and it's easier for the system to calculate, and it's also easier for you to visualize what is happening, because we
But
have websites and interfaces that gives you more details related to your stake. For example, Stake HEX today. It's one of these websites, and I recommend you to go and paste there a public address that owns some stakes, and you'll see all sorts of details. Those details are basically calculated through this middleman, the T share, which means 1 trillion share.
okay, okay, okay. And but I mean, so the system of the stake, can you do it that it can be every day, so that you every day you get um, uh, so liquidity, so that you can spend on your daily basis, or you have to lock it up to some months before you can use money to spend on your life
So, so
expenses.
you can. So a stake can be made in between 1 day and 5,555 days, which is about 15 years. And you
Oh,
can make a ladder of stakes. Let's say you make a stake for 1 year, a stake for 2 years, a stake for 3 years, a stake for 4 years, and so on. And basically, the yield it's minted when you unstake. So you will make a schedule of payments for yourself by creating multiple stakes. You can make a schedule of unstaking every 2 weeks and basically have like a wage. And the stakes that
okay.
have amount in it because the yield will be bigger. So you can create a staking ladder that will be your wage for the next 15 years, basically, if you want.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, and
Mm,
also quick,
okay.
if you make a stake and you end it before the time is up, then you will also get penalized,
Yes,
depending
that
on how long has passed. Yeah.
I in one chat from Richard Hart, heard that he talked about it that if you cancel your stake, then you will have to penalize, and the penalize is a big penalize, because it's you that you put the order to put the determined time, and you didn't want to follow it up. So that I know. It's just that some few questions that I didn't really understand the project, so that's why I try to ask here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
what I
It's good.
recommend you is to note this website, stakehex.today. And what you can do is go on ethereum.io, you type hex, and you'll go on the hex page and you'll see other people doing hex transactions. And when you see somebody staking, you copy paste his public address and you go and put it on in the search box on stakehex.today. And there you have a few buttons at the top that you change the price to see the price in hex, to see the price in US dollars, to see the stakes for each year or for each month or individual stakes, to see the yield as the projected yield or as the current yield. And if you play for a few hours on that website with a few public addresses that have stakes, it will make you understand how actually the system works.
Okay. And a last question. So I was also on the sacrifice. I just only put $2 because I thought it was maybe something fishy. I was not 100% on the project. I thought it was maybe a scam. So I didn't want to risk uh, a big money. So now that I've tried to investigate and try to look how the project it looks like, I saw that on that time, a lot of rich people they sacrifice a bunch of money. So let's say millions. When the
Mil-
launch comes out, of course, these people, if the project does 100x, something like that, they will be more than trillionaires. So I don't know where all the liquidity can come from because not even Bitcoin has a liquidity of 5 trillions. So,
In any asset, if everyone tries to sell at the same time, the price of the asset will go towards zero.
of
This
course,
is
yeah.
this is the same for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for potatoes at the market, for horses, for whatever asset. So
hmm
as soon as the price will go too low, people will start selling because it doesn't worth for them to sell anymore.
So it will be like paper money. So you see a lot of tokens, but you cannot sell. So that is
Yeah,
like
but
a rush,
this is
let's say,
this is
if
this
you say
is
it like
in
that.
every asset in this world. It's not just for this one. Other some assets have bigger liquidity, some assets have lower liquidity. The bigger
hmm
the liquidity is, the lower the potential of the price multiplication is. So for example, for Bitcoin to do a 100x right now,
Yes,
you'll
I
need
know.
a crazy amount of people buying. But for
hmm
a tinier thing like Hex to do a 10,000x, it didn't took that much economical energy for it to get there.
Yeah, but I mean, like with Pulsechain. So if somebody puts 100 million, because I've seen that they were speaking about that there are a lot of sacrifice for 3 million, 5 million, 50 million. All these people, when they do 100x, so 100x from 50 million is a bunch of money. So of course they will want to sell. So if they sell, they will pull all the liquidity away, even though.
Yeah, and the price will go low, and then they will stop selling because the price is too bad, and they will prefer to wait until the price is better. I mean, if everyone will start to sell Bitcoin right now, and the price, let's say Bitcoin is at the top, 67,000, and the price gets to 5,000, would you continue to sell it or say, oh, I should wait maybe another year until the price is better?
Yeah.
I mean, so the underlying idea here is that is there utility of this chain? Like, is it fast? Is there low fees? Can people come over and realize their projects what they can't undo on the Ethereum chain? Like, these things are important questions, because if the chain attracts new users, these new users will have to buy. So the people who are selling, yes, there will always be the sell pressure until they run out of bags. But
Yeah.
you also have new people coming into the system who will buy up these low prices. And there's also other people, other whales, who are going to buy all the other bags that these impatient whales are selling. So
Yeah.
once price hits a very attractive price point, you're going to have a lot of buyers coming in as well. So it's not only sell, but there will be a lot of sell though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's delusional to decline that.
So for what the point that you gave, it's true. So as something new, as a use case, of course, it will attract new people. But on this blockchain, crypto space, let's say, we have every day a new blockchain with low fees. There are a lot. So now all of the blockchains, they are better, let's say, than Ethereum, but people, they still use Ethereum. I don't know. I'm not a developer, I don't know the technical things of all these codes and all these blockchain codes.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
don't
yeah. I
really
got you.
understand.
I understand. But what if
So,
me and you we right now? What if
no,
me and you we right now go and fork Ethereum and make that? Who's going to use our chain?
nobody.
Nobody, exactly. So the value comes from all the 2.5 years since Hex was first developed, and then went into the market, and then every single interview that Richard Hart had to give and dodge all the bullets, take all the shit from all the people who called him a scammer and all these things add value to Pulsechain as well, because you don't only have the coin and the chain that gets copied over, the entire community that has been built throughout this time is also getting copied over of the Hex community. All these things, they add value. Plus, you can't open up something if you don't have at least a little bit of trust. You must have a little bit of trust. And who do we trust in this situation?
Richard Hurt. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So this is not something that is just given to him by God, just like here, somebody snapped their fingers and he just got it. No, he earned it. So all these things, like there's a time component here, which is very important. Like trust is important, but functionality is also important. It's a combination of things. Community is important, and all these things Pulsechain has. And plus, you got the speed, the technicals, and all these things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I cannot say anything wrong about that because it's true. So, so what I guess it will do to the same thing like it did with Hex, that it will have almost more than the 50% of the tokens, so that it can be centralized, so that no whale or somebody has control on the project, I guess. So it's something good for me. Something good for another people is they say that, okay, if somebody on the blockchain, on the decentralized project has a bunch of tokens, so it's a scam, or it will do one day a rug pull. But I don't feel
Yeah.
like that. Jeff Bezos on the stock market, he has the most stocks from his company, but he won't sell his company because he wants to be the biggest company in the world. He wants to get the biggest um, um, so I'm a Spanish guy, so my English is not too good. He
No,
wants
that's
to
good.
be
That's good.
he wants to be the biggest famous person that they say, okay, he built something better. He has the best things, So I guess that Richard Hurt, he wouldn't want to sell something just for, let's say, quick bucks, for something that he can live for 20, 30 years, and like people can speak about him saying that he created something new, you know. So
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people missed out on insane amount of X's with Hex just because they didn't understand what the OA, what the functionality of the OA was, and the
because they thought that it was a scam, They
yes,
see
exactly.
in the
But one of
wallet.
the reasons is because of that wallet that holds like 90% or whatever. Like
Yeah.
this. But they don't understand how it functions and why it's there in the first place, and therefore they just like dismiss it. And it's understandable. But if you just dug in a little bit deeper, you could have made a lot of money.
Mm, yeah. And one last thing, let's say, and I will not ask more questions. So, why, if, like I see, he's very intelligent, that guy. So he knows what he's doing, and but what I don't really understand, why he has to brag always and saying, "Yeah, I have all this money, all these Rolex, all these Lambos." So that type of personality is somebody that one day will do a scam, because there are people that you cannot trust. You will trust better to somebody that, like, let's say, Warren Buffett, that is calm, he gives his points, and if you like him, perfect. If you don't like him, okay. But you cannot be starting to brag and say, okay, I have a Lambo, and you don't know nothing, And that is what he used to say on the stream. So people, of course, they hate him, and they cannot believe that he wants to help us. That is what he always say. I'm trying to help you guys. So you won't trust somebody like that.
An-
What
Anonymous,
Richard
can
is
I just make one quick point? Just one quick point. Are you a fan of Salvador Dali?
No, I'm not fan from nobody. I
No,
don't.
no, no,
I'm not.
no. No. Famous painter, Salvador Dali. I believe from your country.
No, I'm from Spain. I'm from Spain.
Yeah. So you have Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali.
Yeah,
Yes.
Salvador. Yeah, Dali. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Salvador. Okay. So Pablo Picasso was very understated, but he was a very kind of. He bragged a lot about his work. Everyone knew he was a master. But Salvador Dali did outrage marketing. He was a very flamboyant and beautiful mind. It's it's debatable whether or not they were on the same par with each other. Of course, Dali was doing this very interesting work, but he definitely had a different persona. He was not the norm of his time. So to gather in, people to look at him, he had a very crazy type of method with the crazy mustache and making crazy films of himself doing crazy things. So it's not always the norm that captures attention of others. And I think that Richard has employed the same type of principle.
what Richard is doing is named outrage marketing. He himself said that he doesn't like to dress in those clothes and do that stuff, but he's doing that to create outrage because when he made the Pulsechain sacrifice, he also organized a donation for the Census Foundation, and people sent their $27 million. Nobody fucking cared about that. When he went at the freaking restaurant and eat some expensive shitty food, he got tens of articles in a lot of publications. When he brought the most expensive diamond, he got hundreds of articles in a lot of publications. This is because good stuff, real good actions are not interesting for the media. People, you never go and read that this guy donated $10 million to that children house. You don't fucking care about this. But instead, you hate on a guy that brought 10 Lamborghinis and you read about him some more. Even though the sentiment is hate, it actually captures your interest.
Okay.
Yeah, great points, both Boner and Adrian. I just want to add one quick thing on top of it. Remember that it's hard to compare somebody like Buffett. He's from a different generation. The technology was different. Everything was different. His demeanor might be different, and so on and so on. But the thing is that Richard exists in a world where the noise is overwhelming. There is so much noise. Go on Twitter. Everybody is making noise. You must come up with a strategy to break through that noise and make you stand out of that noise. So somebody shifts their attention from the noise and onto you. Whether it's good or bad doesn't matter. What matters is their eyes and attention go to you, because the currency of today's world is attention. What can you do to gain someone's attention? If you do get their attention, then you can tell them something, then you can sell them something, then you can make their life better, and so on. But it doesn't matter how good of a person you are. If you don't have their attention, your intentions will never be heard, will never be understood. So whatever it is that he spends his money on, talks about, it's not like something he did like the entire time. It's something that he started doing at some point. And I do believe some of it is pretty cringe, but at the same time, I understand the strategy. Nobody here is perfect. He's still, he's still just a man. He's just experimenting with things to break through that noise. So,
yeah, it's true. Yeah, it has sense. What's you guys, you put it in that situation, it has sense.
yeah, good questions though, honestly.
Yeah. But why then, let's say the YouTubers, the biggest YouTubers, they don't care about the people. They just care to get to be millionaires, to get money. Why they didn't bought Hex, even though?
Huh. The YouTubers are paid by the project's founders in order, or from by the centralized exchanges. They are not doing it for your interest. They are doing it for their wallets. So if you are a
Yes,
project founder or a centralized exchange, you are going and paying influencers to say shit for you in order for you to make money.
yes, of course. But
So
if we speak
so
about
it's like,
marketing, if we speak about marketing, why Richard Heard, he has connection, let's say, with BitBoy, with all these people. He has already spoke on their live chats, so he has connection with them. Why he doesn't do a marketing budget and not selling buying a Lambo and using it to pay all these stupid guys that they should speak on their channel about Hex? That's what I don't really understand, because he has connection with them. It's not something like you say, okay, it's hard to get to them. He has been with them, he has spoke with them, he has a live chat with them on the shows, he has been with them, so it's even more easier to reach them. But you don't even have to pay. You just only have to say, okay, look, speak about my project, and I will just send you some coins. It has already
No,
value.
no, 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 no. That is fake. That's fake. Speak about the project because it's good. Don't speak about the project because I'm going to send you something.
But that is what Binance do, and KuCoin, and all of the exchanges they do.
Yes,
they
and they're
are
all
pulling
scumbags.
on their clients.
Yes, but you can do that if you know that you won't do a scam back. So the problem is that if you a scam is that you do marketing to later sell and fuck everybody up. But if you do a marketing sending the coins because he said, I've heard on the chat that he sent some coins to BitBoy, let's say. Satoshi Nakamoto, he did the same thing. He sent a bunch of coins to the people. But The difference that people, they don't see that Bitcoin is a scam is just because Satoshi never sold, and I guess that Richard Hurt, of course, he doesn't want to sell, because he wants marketing. He wants that his project be successful in the future. So I don't really understand why he didn't get on that point to just be with all these influencers.
Yeah, but you have to remember that before he even got a chance to even speak to one of these influencers, they all called him a scammer. You understand?
Of course, but
So
it's
how can someone call you a scammer and then you go to them and say, "Hey man, can you I'm gonna pay you something. Can you talk about my shit?"
because of course, Richard Hurt, he has to know that it's normal that they say that it's a scam, because we say it is the same thing with the first coin that has been built on the blockchain. Let's say that is Bitcoin. At the beginning, everybody say, okay, I don't know this coin, I don't understand it, but I will just put some bucks. And if it's a scam, it's a scam. It's normal. It's something new. So
Yes, without a doubt. I agree with that. It is definitely, when something new comes out, you have very skeptical viewpoints of it. But this is not the point. The point is they call it a scam. He explains it's not. He explains the mechanics. He explains everything. Hundreds of times they still call him a scam. So they don't want to learn about it. They didn't want to even look into it. They didn't want to
yeah,
learn any of that. They didn't want to learn C-shares. They didn't want to learn anything. They just wanted to yell scam all the time.
so the way of marketing that is doing it will be hard. It will be really hard. I think if he
I don't
used
know.
the influencers, it would be more faster, the journey.
I think it's looking good, bro. It's looking freaking good. Like from the
How many
Hex's
years
inception until now, it's looking really good, bro.
how many years it has been, so the project from Hex? When
Like two and
was
a
it
half years.
1.5 years? Yeah, it's not bad.
And you have to think also that all the projects on the Pulse chain will follow the regular market footpath. So if they pay the influencers before, they will pay influencers again to advertise the token on the Pulse chain network. So a lot of the marketing will be done also by the projects, because now we are the utility, we are the streets to get at the destination.
Mm, yeah. And another point is why, well, so I know that it's private. It makes sense because it's private. But why it doesn't want to never say where is it staying?
Most
So what is fear
projects, you
about?
don't even know the name of the founder. I mean,
Okay.
the whole industry hates on Richard because Richard is pointing out truths about the industry. So imagine how many centralized exchanges are hating Richard, how many projects founders are hating Richard, because he's not playing the game of the industry.
Yo, listen. Why would you tell anyone where you live? Like
No,
that's ridiculous.
I know. So yeah, I know that it's private, so it makes sense because it's private. Everybody will want our privacy, but um, it seems like he do it like he's scared about something, like he fears that people may.
Yeah, but he has a legitimate. It's like anyone who has a lot of money has. It's healthy to have some sort of fear. Like it's healthy to understand that if you give enough information out that someone can narrow down whatever they want about you, it's going to be easier for them to sell your information to somebody who maybe doesn't care about human life. Like it's very healthy to have some fear, especially when you're in a position like that. You can't just be a clown and be completely like fearless.
Mm, yeah, well, yeah, I cannot say anything about that because it's private. So
Like if you're some sort of investigator, no, you don't even need to be an investigator. Nowadays, man, you can find out a lot of things about other people. But if you have some information, you might be a good guy, but you can just sell that, or you might not even be a good guy. But you can be a guy who's not capable of doing terrible things, but you can be, enticed by selling this information to someone who doesn't care and can do bad things. So you can gain money just from knowing a location of somebody. So there's so many more things, but yeah, a smart person will never get off their location.
And
In that
will you?
position, of course.
So if one day, let's say Richard Hart dies, will you guys think that the blockchain and what Oli created will still continue, or because the trust is on Richard, maybe to fail of the project? Because also it's a point that we have. I want to know if in case, you know, it's like, let's say, on the Ethereum blockchain, so if Vitalik dies, the blockchain is already too big that people will still continue using it.
Yeah, so I think one of the main principles that Richard built his products of is to encourage a free market, and the morality of that lies in the fact that you don't have these admin keys, you don't have AML, KYC, like all these things. I believe many people love Richard for the fact that he upholds this idea of what crypto was supposed to be. So in the middle of him building something, if he dies, if something bad happens, then yeah, that's terrible. But once it's built, I mean, it's also terrible if something happens to him. But I'm just saying, like, once the product is built, it's built with these foundational principles in mind. And so if this product can live on forever without having anyone interfere and make updates and anything like that to it, then the product will live on. But like I said, like if right now, while Pulsechain is being developed, something happens, then it's bad for
Yes, I
all
know.
the Pulsechain sacrifices. But nothing, like, maybe hex price will dip, but the product still is there. Like it still works the way that it did before. So I don't see like the utility is still the same whether he's here or not.
So like, I mean, like he has all the admin keys or something like that, that
But he
maybe.
doesn't. It doesn't exist there. It doesn't exist in hex.
So to let's say that if it's not there, the blockchain can still improve, can still update himself with all of the developers that is inside the project. That is my
Okay,
point.
so yeah, I don't know with regards to Pulsechain. I don't know the specifics of that. But if you just look at the way that Hex is a construct, is a code that is locked and can never be opened, and it lives on the Ethereum blockchain. And so whether Richard is here or not, everything will still be the same. And actually, someone might even argue that if Richard is gone, then the control and the access to the keys that hold that 90% of the supply is also gone. So that just makes it even more bullish if you think about it like that. But from a human standpoint, obviously, like, I love Richard. I don't want anything to happen to him. But
No.
overall, like, the product is the product.
Okay. Yeah. It's because I see like there is a lot of maxis, like in Bitcoin, and sometimes I want to give some questions, not from a maxi mindset, I want from somebody that is a little bit neutral, because all of these things that I'm trying to ask, it can happen, So it's just like a small view for the future if I invest on the project with the big money. That's why I asked.
No, like I said, you ask good questions because these are the type of questions people who want to inject money into something should ask. It's important.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. It's nice to speak with you guys, and let's hope that everything continues with the journey.
I don't know, but if I would have been Richard and I would have received close to $2 billion in sacrifices, I bet I will do a redundancy so the developer teams will keep being paid even if I die.
Sorry?
I said if I will be Richard and I would have received $2 billion in sacrifices, because the sacrifices were close to $1.8 million or something, $1 billion.
That is
I'll
the
build a
amount that you have.
redundancy for my life in case I die. Somehow the developers will be paid so they keep developing.
Yeah. And do you guys know by what price will be the standard when the project launches, or you
Nobody
don't
has
know?
any ideas. Nobody. And even if there will be an initial price of, let's say, $0.0001, that price will be there for 1 second. Then the markets and the size of the liquidity pools will decide where the price is going.
Yeah. It will FOMO in, it will go up some weeks, and maybe then it will come down. Okay.
You have to think it's an event that never happened before in crypto for a blockchain to be copied with a whole system state. So all the tokens underneath, they have their own movements and it's unseen before.
Yeah. And is it still possible to buy, or let's say to sacrifice, or
No,
it's
no, no,
already
no,
locked?
no. Don't sacrifice. It's gone long time ago. We sacrificed like a year ago.
Yes, yes, of course. I sacrificed, but I just put only $2.
Don't worry, there will be a chance for you to buy the dips.
Okay.
Imagine you lost the launch of Ethereum. Look at the chart of Ethereum from the beginning. Do you think in the first months it would have been a good opportunity to because the price was very little compared to it later.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Papa, have you got a chance to look at that video?
What do you say?
No, no, I was asking Papa Boner if he got a chance to look at the video that I sent to him before he went to sleep. I guess he's not around his phone.